الله الحمد لله الذي نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله الله تعالى بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا فصلى الله عليه وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. قال الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت 11 كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين وكذلك يجتبيك ربك ويعلمك من تأويل الأحاديث ويتم نعمته عليك وعلى آل يعقوب كما أتمها على أبويك من قبل إبراهيم وإسحاق إن ربك عليم حكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم ثبتنا عند الموت بلا إله إلا الله اللهم اجعلنا من الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر آمين يا رب العالمين. Allah Azza wa Jal gave us a remarkable story in the Quran, one of the most detailed accounts in the Quran of any prophet, and that is the account of Yusuf alayhi salam. Many of you know an entire surah is dedicated just to the telling of his story. And that's unlike any other prophet where a single surah would be dedicated to just telling their life account. But in this story, a lot of times we know of the events that took place. It's a very famous story, but we don't pay much attention to some of these very profound lessons that Allah Azza wa Jal has put inside of this story. One of the most incredible ayat of this surah is لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُفَ وَإِخْوَتِهِ ayatun lisa'ilin, that for certain in Yusuf and his brothers, there are many miraculous signs and many lessons, if you will, many heavenly lessons for the people who ask questions. And the word sa'il also means people in need. So the word sa'il in Arabic means these two groups, meaning Yusuf alayhi salam and his brothers. You have a lot to learn from them if you have questions. Also, you have a lot to learn from them if you are in need. So it actually means both things, sa'ilin. And what kind of need, this surah is going to describe people in different kinds of desperate situations. And human beings, believers, they will find themselves in similar desperate situations. And they will find the need that they have of that hour being addressed by the words of Allah in this surah. So it's got many, many beautiful lessons that we can extract from and really enrich our lives with. And hopefully, I hope to highlight one such thing today. It's something that seems very small, but it can become very, very big. The way the story begins in the Quran is that Allah Azza wa Jal describes a child who came up to his father to tell him a dream. إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ 11 كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ. He comes to his father and he tells him that my beloved father, there isn't any doubt I saw 11 stars and the sun and the moon. And then the Arabic is interesting, رَأَيْتُهُمْ, I saw them. So he repeats I saw twice. It happened in the beginning of the ayah. إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ, and as a matter of fact, ana is twice for those of you who know Arabic. I saw them for sure. And then by the time he says 11 stars, the sun and the moon, he starts over again and says I saw them one more time, before he completes his statement, li sajidin, which suggests a few things. One of the things it can suggest is a child, when they're sharing something, sometimes they're nervous. And when they're nervous, they repeat themselves. Sometimes your child comes up to you, something happened at school, or something happened in the playground, and you say, what happened? And you say, I was playing, and then what happened? And I was playing, and then, and they repeat their words because they're trying to get to the part that might get them in trouble, or the part that's hard to talk about, or the part that's a little bit shocking for them or traumatizing for them, right? So Yusuf alayhi salam sees this dream as a child. He comes to his dad. He's nervous about this dream. And the fact that he began with inni, for those of you who know the Arabic language a little bit, inna harfun li izalati shak. it's used to remove doubt. Like he's telling his dad a dream, but he thinks even his dad might not believe him. It's too incredible, too crazy of a thing that he saw. It's too wild of a thing that he saw that maybe my dad won't even believe me. So he says, no, really, I did see it. I did in fact see it. I saw 11 stars, the sun and the moon. And then he says, رَأَيْتُهُمْ, which is the strangest language. You know, in English translation of this ayah, they say, I saw them prostrating before me. Meaning I saw the stars, the sun and the moon doing sajda to me. But the Arabic of it is very different. The word رَأَيْتُهُمْ, the damir, the pronoun hum, which is translated they, is not used for inanimate objects. It's not used for the sun or the stars or the moon. As a matter of fact, if it was for the sun or the stars or the moon, the two options in Arabic would have been رَأَيْتُهُنَّ لِي سَاجِدَاتٍ or رَأَيْتُهَا لِي سَاجِدَةٍ. Those were the two options in Arabic. I know many of you don't know Arabic, and that's okay. But what I'm trying to get across to you is the way he spoke suggests that he already knew that it's not actually the stars, the sun and the moon, it's actually people. Because the wording he used is wording used in Arabic only for people. It's لِذَوِي الْعُقُولِ. So when he said this to his father, they're doing sajda to me, they're prostrating because of me, they're falling on the ground. This was the part that he found so shocking. And his father, when he responds to him, realizes in the way that the son told him the dream, the way that he expressed himself, the father paid close attention to him and realized this kid is so smart. Not only did he see a special dream, he interpreted it all on his own in the way that he described it. So the interpretation has already happened. It's already happened. You see, seeing a dream is not an accomplishment. That's not an accomplishment. But seeing a dream and then having the intelligence and the insight and the wisdom to figure out what it means, now that's a pretty amazing accomplishment. So what Allah decides, there are so many endless conversations that happen between parents and children, and Allah decides to highlight this one dialogue between Yusuf and his father. Of all the things he could have highlighted, he highlights this dialogue. There are other major events in the story. He gets kidnapped, that's a pretty major event. He gets thrown in a well, that's a pretty major event. He gets taken out and sold as a slave, as a child slave, that's a major event. He gets falsely accused and thrown into jail later on. Before that, he tries to get tempted by the minister's wife. Then he gets thrown into jail. Then he spends many years in jail. I mean, there are several major events that are talked about in this story. And in the beginning of this story, instead of what you would think is a major event, is just a small conversation. And in this conversation, Yusuf alayhi salam is just expressing a dream that he saw, but his father validates him immediately. And that's really the khutbah today. He says to him, وَكَذَلِكَ, well, first of all, he warns him, لَا تَقْصُصْ رُؤْيَاكَ عَلَى إِخْوَتِكَ فَيَكِيدُ لَكَ كَيْدًا. Don't tell this dream that you saw of yours to your brothers.